I want you guys to think about a single phrase that all of you have said once in your life. I guarantee you. Anyone who has not is simply lying. Whether this being picking up your hot food from Grab downstairs to a major assignment you have due the next day, it is so easy just to say, I'll do it later, and simply not do it. Today, I'll explain to you, biologically and psychologically, how essentially this works and how to overcome it. But first of all, I would like you to go through an introduction, an analogy, if you will. Here is a stick man trying to get over this wall. As you can see here, the wall has cracks. It's made of boulders, and there's simple edges you can typically put your foot on and climb over. It ain't just a flat, straight wall with no ledges. The stick man thinks that you could probably get over it. But here's the thing. He's trying to get to the other edge, and from what he can see, there are no simple edges in the wall. There are several things he can do to solve this problem. First of which is to plan. He can reach about all the ways to climb, gather all supply he needs, read endless textbooks, but simply just get nothing really done. He could also try to walk into the end of the wall. Maybe there's a simple gap, maybe there's a simple ledge where one can exit through. Or most importantly, and fundamentally the most easiest option, he just could do nothing. Sit there, call for help, and simply wait. These are all analogies of procrastination in general. By excessively preparing, you're essentially accomplishing nothing. You might essentially tell yourself you're doing something, but in reality, you're not. You're actually getting nothing done. And that by itself is simply as bad as doing nothing. In conclusion, you can see that procrastination is anxiety disguised as preparation. When you prepare, you have to fundamentally know that what you're doing and take further steps. But when you're preparing, you're not actually getting the task on hand done. Biologically, this can be explained through this diagram right here. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the prefrontal cortex, but less of the limbic system, so I'll give you a step. The prefrontal cortex is essentially the logical person. In Sigmund Freud's theory of psychology, it is the superego. It tells you, hey, this is something I should get done. For example, let's take an AP essay that you have to do that's due next week. Your prefrontal cortex is the person saying, it's due in a week, why not just do it now and get it over with? However, your limbic system, in Freud's id, is essentially the one that pleases you the most. It gives into your innermost desires, those animalistic desires that we possess. Fear, hatred, anger, and lust. The limbic system will tell you, let's just not do it now. You have so much time. And there's so many other things we could do. We could hang out with our friends, we could go eat, we could play video games, we could do so many other things that will make us happier in the current moment. And what's the point of life? To be happy. Why would you want to do stuff like this? And when we do that, when our limbic system wins, when we procrastinate, the prefrontal cortex takes over in general. And the prefrontal cortex essentially covers your limbic system. It puts these thoughts of fear, anger, and lust in disguise and justifies them through a way where we find it rational. Back to the AP exam analogy. Maybe I have a dinner plan with my mom that I planned a long time ago. That's why I can't study. I'm just not feeling like it. My hip hurts. These are all rational reasons that we use to cover up something completely irrational, governed by our prefrontal cortex. During this battle, it's a constant struggle with your mind, a constant tug of war, battling and so on and so forth. This can be proved scientifically. In this diagram right here, you can see the hippocampus right here with the limbic system. The limbic system is essentially most active on the X diagram. The higher the number is, the more you procrastinate during procrastination. However, in the prefrontal cortex is least active during procrastination. What does it say? Is scientifically, fundamentally correct. Now, myself, a student, I have found several ways of just like trying to figure out how to not procrastinate. It's just so easy to not get stuff done. And you search online, how to not procrastinate, there's so many options that come up. Specific planning techniques like the Pomodoro technique, or just tomorrow thinking, wishful thinking, all these abstract complexes that really don't make sense to me. But then I realized, what is the most common thing that gets us to do stuff? What beats procrastination? What transforms our power back to our prefrontal cortex? And that one thing is by turning reaction into proaction. Urgency is the single most thing that essentially goes us to that. If our AP exam essay is due the day after, the thing that makes it get it done is the fact that it's about to be a day after. This sense of urgency, this sense of need, and this sense of want essentially makes the prefrontal cortex take control. Now, how do we do this easily? You just have to get in the zone. There's several ways to get in the zone. For example, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. By saying to yourself, by counting down these methods, you can control this cloud of not knowing what to do and simply rationalize all your thoughts and focus on one thing. And deadlines. People always say schedule stuff, but it seems like every time you schedule, for example, in my case, there's always something that comes up. Maybe my mom asked me to go to dinner, or maybe something event like, for example, like I have to go to study somewhere else. There's always something that comes up. The thing is, you must know yourself the best. You are with you throughout your life, and you spend pretty much your entire existence with yourself. By knowing yourself, by knowing the way you act, and by knowing simply who you are, you should be able to set deadlines for yourself and plan what to do. If you're the type of person to not follow schedules, then don't make schedules at all. Make checklists, make to-do lists, and so on. And finally, change your environment. So many people that I know blame themselves just for being lazy or not studying. But if you're studying in your bedroom, right next to your bed, where you associate essentially sleeping and relaxing with, how are you getting stuff done? By the side of your bed, I would personally much rather sleep in my bed than get work done. So, what's the solution to this? Just go outside. Your living room, the park, the library, the classroom. There are so many aspects of your life that you can control, and it's your choice to essentially get over this barrier. By each step you take, it's a step, it's a foothold, it's a hoist. And when you reach the very top, you might see something on the other side.